Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I am the host of today's show. I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. And you can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. And there's also a Kindle version on Amazon. So if you want to check that out. I write a lot about my personal stories in the book, along with 52 tips, health and beauty type of thing. And so today I'm going to be sharing some more personal stories based on today's topic. But I just wanted to say hello, happy September. First off, how is your summer? How is your year? I feel like we're at that point of the year where we need to be asking ourselves if we're happy with our year, what's been going on. I know that people in my life have experienced a lot of change this year, and same for me. I feel like I've experienced change, all good change. So I don't know about you, but it feels like a very speedy year as well. It's gone by really fast. I can't believe it's September. We're entering the fall season already, and the end of the year will approach soon. So hope you guys can take inventory on your year, what you want to do, what's worked for you, and what hasn't worked for you, what you want to change moving forward. So I'm sure we'll touch on that too. And of course, I welcome, because I already see a question coming in or a comment. I always welcome comments and questions, you guys. I absolutely love that you're listening and tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And I really hope to be of service to you guys. I really hope that I bring something to you of value. So I encourage questions and comments. And if I don't get to them right away, just know that I see them and I will get to them. So far, like I said, I'm really happy with my year. I have, been growing my Jenna Lobos brand, which is wellness and beauty and health. And I launched a new website back in February. And basically, I offer coaching for women, one-on-one coaching. And the best way I can describe that work to you is it's therapy plus energy work. So that's kind of the best way to describe it in layman's terms. Everybody's different, and we go deep in whatever is not working for you and what's interfering in your life. And so that's up. If any of you are interested, jennalobos.com. I've been really just trying to focus on growing that. And like I said, tweaking it. And I have big dreams. I have big dreams and big visions for the brand. Also, I'm super excited to announce that I do have a new song on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. It's called Together. It is a cover song. I talked all about this last time I was live. And if you guys are interested in knowing the history on why I chose that song, you can listen back to my episode about 3 weeks ago where I just kind of talked about getting in the studio and recording. And it's basically a song that's really close to my heart because the lead singer of this band went to school with my mom and dad. So that's all I will say today about it, but it is up. If you guys want to check it out, it's called Together. It's on all of the music outlets, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. So I'm excited. Thank you, Larry. There's the link right there to the YouTube to the song on YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out, Rebel just put the link up. So thank you for that. So let me just get to your comments and then I'll dive into today's subject. Betty, things are going okay. Good. I'm so happy to hear that, Betty. Good for you. Kevin, I don't know where the year has gone so far. This time is flying by. I know. I agree. Totally agree. I can't believe it's September. Beth, I like how you get personal and real. We're going to get personal today, Beth. You just wait. So, thank you for that. Larry, it's good to follow your dreams. Yes, it is, Larry. And I really encourage everyone to follow their dreams. Don't be afraid to dream big. With the music thing, if I wouldn't have had a mentor encourage me, I would have gotten in my head about it and I wouldn't have followed my heart. I would have talked myself out of taking my little poetry and my songwriting to an actual studio and seeing if I had anything there. I would have just not done that. If my mentor wouldn't have told me, do it. Like, what are you waiting for? Life is short, kind of thing. And so, for sure, follow your dreams and don't be afraid to start over. No matter where you're at in life, truly, like no matter your chronological age, no matter your circumstance, always know that you can start over today. Today, literally, you can start over today. You can make the call. You can get out and do something new. You can follow whatever's in your heart of hearts. And honestly, you guys, I truly believe that now more than ever. So I think with that said, I will get into today's subject because I have had to start over so many times, like truly. And I feel like heartbreak has always been the catalyst for me to start over. And so with that said, the title of today's show again is Flirting with Life After Heartbreak, Loss, or Disappointment. And I looked up the definition of flirting. And basically it's playfulness and lightheartedness, right? And so they get more into the definition, of course, but those two words I feel popped out at me, playfulness and lightheartedness. And after heartbreak, especially devastation, heartbreak, like true devastation, it's hard to get back into that state of mind, just to be playful with life and flirt with life and be open-hearted and allow yourself to love again. And so, so I decided that I'm going to take you guys back to my first heartbreak. I was 18 when I moved out of the house. I didn't have true stability, I guess I can say, growing up. I know I've probably mentioned that on previous shows. So at 18, I decided that I needed to move out. And something happened in my home that it was kind of like, okay, that was it, like kind of last straw thing. And I knew I needed to get out. And my dad wasn't really in my life growing up. And now we're great. We're tight. We have a great relationship. But back when I was a kid, I'd see him, but then I wouldn't see him. It was kind of like an off and on relationship. And I remember having to call my dad at 18, going on 19, and asking him for help to move out of where my mom and I were living. And I was so afraid of this, you guys. Like, I was so scared to call him and ask for help. But I was a kid, I was a senior in high school. I had just graduated, and I had like a little like bartender, like I was a appetizer waitress in a bar. Okay. And one of my cousins, my older cousin, worked there as a cocktail waitress. And so she got me in as an appetizer waitress. And that was good for me because I could work with her at night and make tips for extra money. And then I could go to school. Like my plan was to go to college, right, during the day and then work there at night. And it was good for me at that time because, like I said, you can make tips. So at that time, I knew I needed to move. And I will say that, bless my dad's heart, because he always came through at like the times where I needed him the most. It was almost like he knew intuitively, like I needed him. And so if I look back in my history, like he was always there. Like like I said, when I needed him, I was in dire straits, because other than that, I would never call to ask for help. I would figure it out on my own. So I'm 19. I have to move out and pay rent and do the whole adult thing. And I need a roommate. Okay. And none of my girlfriends had this kind of situation where they needed to move out of their family's house. So I asked my high school boyfriend to move in with me. Not proud, okay? Not proud of that. But at the time, I had no choice. In my mind, I really had no choice. I had to have help with the rent. And he was the only one that I knew that didn't really like where he lived per se. He had it easier than I did, I will say that, but we connected on the basis of like kind of like our childhood traumas, right? Like we were like us against the world kind of thing, you know? Like looking back, that was kind of the energy around our relationship. But we were like in love, right? We were high school sweethearts. We were young. We didn't know any better. And so he agreed. He agreed to move in with me. And it was a sad situation, you guys. You know, we had like a mattress on the floor, you know, like didn't even have a bed. Like I don't know how we got a couch and a TV. Somebody probably gave it to us. But like I said, I was working full time and I was trying to go to college full time. And here I was playing house with this high school sweetheart boyfriend at 19. And, you know, I'm a girl, right? And so in my mind, I thought this was it. You know, this this was it for me. I was going to marry this guy. We were going to have kids. It was going to be like that was it. That was going to be my life, you know? And yeah, so we're together, we're living together, and he gets a job at a music store, which was a pretty good drive away from our apartment where we lived. And it was a good job though. He was making better money, and he was going to paramedic school. At that time he wanted to be a paramedic, and I got an assistant job to a realtor, and I was going to school full time. So we were doing pretty well, I feel like, as far as money was concerned. Um, and so one day this was about, let's say, probably 2 years in, right? 2 years in of, let's see, I was 19, 20. So it was a good year, I'd say, of living together. It was a good year. It was before my 21st birthday. I know that for sure. So it was probably a good year and a half. We had been living together, and we were at his grandmother's house. And his grandma had this like back room where the TV was and the couch was, and like it was kind of like a den where you could just hang out and watch TV. And then the rest of the house was like in the front, right? So we were in the way back of the house. And I won't say his name, but his grandma said, you know, so and so, like, you have somebody here for you at the door. And he immediately looks at me and he's like, stay here. And I was like, why? He's like, just stay here. And I was like, that was weird. He had never talked to me like that, you know? And so, of course, I didn't stay in that room. I'm 20 years old, and I'm like, I'm not going to stay here in this room, like, especially now that you're telling me to stay here because you don't want me to see who's at the door. So, from the back room, you can go like the back way. You can sneak into like the rooms from so in other words, he wasn't going to be able to see that I was like coming out to look. So I, of course, went this other way and went into his room where I could see outside, like peek. And you guys, literally, I peeked out the window and he was kissing another girl. Like, really, like, what? Oh my God, daggers, right? Daggers in my heart. She was in a car. She, I guess, had gotten in her car and he was kissing her from the window. Like his whole head was in her car kissing her. And I was like devastated. Devastated. Like, yes, like right there. Danny says, like right there. Yeah, right there in front of my face. And I was 20 years old at this point. My whole world flashed through my face, like right in front of my eyes, right? Because I thought, oh my God, I'm literally living with the guy. And now where am I going to go? Or who's going to help me for rent? Like, oh, is this it? We're breaking up. Like, just all of the things, right? If you know the heartbreak and you've been through it, you guys know what it's like, especially as women. I don't know about men, but I'll get to your questions. So that was my first heartbreak. I don't even know how I did it, but I do remember that I was borrowing actually my dad's car at that point, at that time. I had gotten into a car accident in my VW Bug, my Volkswagen, and my dad had lent me his car. And I remember, I don't even know where I went, to be honest. I'm trying to remember because I left that house crying, bawling. And I didn't even know where I was going to go, right? I just knew I needed to get to a phone. I probably went back to my apartment and I was trying to get a hold of my mom, and she was in Hawaii. My mom was in Hawaii at that time with her friend vacationing. And I got a hold of her friend in Hawaii, and my mom actually flew home. My mom was living in a studio apartment, and long story short, I had to move back to my mom's house in the studio apartment. Okay. Devastation, you guys. My whole world was turned upside down. And so that was my first heartbreak. And let's see, I guess I'll stop and answer some questions before we get into what I did from there. So let's see. Jean, do you feel most of us get in our own heads, and how can we realize we are doing it? For sure. Yeah, we all do that, Jean. You can realize that you're doing it if you're having fear-based thoughts. And you're like if basically it's anything about, like, let's say you want to do something and you continue to have these racing thoughts of, no, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of that, or whatever. That's your mind. That's truly being in your head and not in your heart, not in your body. It's more your mind. Your soulful self, right? Your bigger, true soulful self has really no fear. It already knows why you're here, and you have a bigger purpose and all of that. But that's a complete different conversation for today's show. But I just wanted to address that question. And let's see, Cam, what nerve did you want to rip his, oh my God, his lips off? I know, right, Cam? I know. I was so, you guys, it was a big deal. It really was. Both of my mom and my dad had to go talk to his grandma at one point because I had to get my stuff back. I did not want to see the guy. I was just so heartbroken. Lacey, how long was it going on? Okay, so I found out that this woman was an older woman that he had met at the music store that he was working at that I mentioned. Um, yeah, like I said, we were 20, and all I knew was that she was older and he had been fooling around with her. So I don't really know to this day how old she was or anything else, like if she was married, or I really have no idea to this day anything about that. And by the way, I'm totally okay with this guy now. Like, he literally like Facebooked me 2 years ago and said, "Happy birthday. I always think of you." And what's interesting is that he's married with like, I think 4 kids now. Um, and um, I think so. Okay, let me just finish up here. Osher, sorry you had to go through all that. Are you better now? Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so good. I'm so good now. Thank you, Osher. Francis, did they get together after you left him? I feel like they probably fooled around. I feel like I don't know why my gut says that she was probably married or had somebody else. And I feel like it was just kind of like, I mean, granted, I mean, to his defense, you guys, he was 20 years old. How I can't be mad at that now, right? Like, he had to go and explore and do his thing. And thank God he did. Like, I don't want 4 kids now. Like, I don't want that life at all. So, getting to our subject, like flirting with life after heartbreak and disappointment, I just want to say that looking back, everything, like, what am I trying to say here? I just know now that it all happened the way it was supposed to. Just like I told Jean, like, I always talk about this, you guys, and I'll say it again. You have to really trust life. You have to trust your own, being your own flow. And even these big, heartbreaking, devastating moments have a purpose. You know, his sister, my high school sweetheart's sister, and I actually became really amazing close friends. So listen to this. So after I ended up going back and living with my mom in this studio apartment, wasn't happy about this. Okay. Literally 2 women living in a studio apartment. I was 20 years old. I don't want to be with my parent. First of all, I wanted freedom. I had a car, all of that. And here we are in a studio apartment, like on top of each other. Like, I didn't like that, but there served a purpose there. I had gained a lot of weight when I was playing house with this guy. And my mom has always been into fitness and healthy eating and stuff like that. So now I'm living with her, and she, we started going to the gym together. I started eating healthy again. And just like, the weight fell off. I was starting to feel better about myself. So that served a purpose. That was good for me and my health and my well-being and everything now that I talk about, because that got me on this health journey since my early 20s. I've been on this health kick. I I I dropped off a little bit at 25 to 30, which that's a whole other story about a heartbreak and a situation. But I dropped off a little bit of my health kick from 25 to 30. But other than that, I've been pretty clean since my 20s. But so, okay, so I get on this health journey, I get on this kick, I start going to the gym. I'm feeling better about myself. And my high school sweetheart's sister knew the whole situation, right? And I was out of work at this time. I was living in this studio apartment. I was going to college. I was trying to, get my college in. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do with my life. And his sister calls me we didn't have cell phones at that time. We had just regular phones. And she calls me and she offers me a job. Okay. She offers me a receptionist job at a mortgage company. And she talked to me, you guys. She was like, I'm so sorry for his behavior. I love you as a sister. Um, I want my company is hiring and I knew you needed the money. So I wanted to offer you this opportunity. And I was like, yes, 100% yes, I needed to work. And she basically got me into, the interview for the receptionist at a mortgage company. And from there, I worked as a receptionist for I think 2 to 2.5 years. I got my real estate license. I learned the ropes in mortgage and real estate. I ended up living with her for a little while, like a good while, having my own room there. And she was teaching me the ropes with mortgage and real estate. And basically, you guys, that was my career for like good 15 years. And I did well. I've done well. So again, trusting, right? That heartbreak and that devastation turned into what was meant for me without knowing him and without living with him and without getting to know his sister on a personal level and her getting to know me. And then she just happened to be a realtor and in mortgage. I mean, you know what I mean? Just looking back at just the timeline and the time frame of how that all went down and how I was supposed to just be at that place at the right time and just be in the right company. And it just rolled out that way. So I really appreciate me being able to talk about it with you guys, because I went on to, get married, my ex-husband. And I feel like, your first heartbreak is devastating, right? Like it's just, I will never forget it. I'm happy it happened because, like I said, it propelled me into my career. But my ex-husband, the one that heartbreak that is more recent, I can tell you that has been the worst, just the worst ever in my life. Like, I feel like it's been the worst because I really felt that I had met my person. I really trusted this guy. And just so to be open with you guys, I've been really lucky with career and financially and other things in my life. But as far as like love and romance, big pain point for me, big pain point. Just to let you know, I know why now. Thank God. This has been my work. I've gotten onto this spiritual path of getting to know myself more. And I know why. I didn't have the picture of two parents that showed me love and showed me the way it was supposed to be. Like I mentioned, my dad was in and out of my life. It was really hard growing up with my mom. Not a lot of stability, like I've said. And as a kid, you're a sponge, right? You pick up the messages around you. I mean, unless you're super, super lucky and you have two parents that are healthy, a healthy dynamic, and they show you the way of the world, and they show you healthy relationship and how that they love each other, and that this solid foundation of a home. I mean, good for you if that's what you experienced. I did not. I absolutely did not. Chaos, fighting, um, just, you guys, I mean, that's a whole other show. But my point is, I picked up the message that love had to hurt. Love was chaotic. Um, I wasn't good enough. Just, you're a sponge as a kid. And I picked up those messages. And my work has been to undo that dialogue in my head. And that's taken me years. It's taken me years to undo that negative self-talk and those beliefs. And I still, I have to be honest, I still have to watch myself, because it's easy. That foundation was laid as a kid, and you just pick up these messages and you start thinking these things about yourself that are untrue, that are completely untrue. And so again, I talk about the silver lining and everything, because again, thank God for my childhood and me finding these mentors and me getting onto a spiritual path and me understanding myself better and me going through these heartbreaks, because now I'm able to be in service and talk about it and coach women one-on-one and get deep. And I understand all these feelings that come with hard, toxic relationships. Truly, the story that I shared, my 19-year-old heartbreak, I will say he wasn't toxic. Like, truly, I don't feel like that relationship was toxic, you guys. We were just young. Like, again, I don't hate the guy. I would say hi to him, give him a hug now, like I feel like I know his sister. I feel like I love his sister. She's like a friend of mine today. I could pick up the phone and call her today. So no hard feelings at all. I just feel like we were young. But after that, I did get myself into toxic, for sure. My next big relationship after that was with an alcoholic. That was fun. I'm kidding. It was in my 20s. It was after this heartbreak. I just ended up with somebody that drank a lot. And that's when I said I fell off my healthy, like, I'm the health wagon. And from 25 to 30, I partied because I was with this other guy. And it was toxic in the fact that you guys, I went to Al-Anon. I tried to like fix it, because again, I felt like I needed to, the picture that I saw growing up was that I needed to overgive to receive love. I needed to fix my environment for me to feel safe. So all these messages came through as a kid. And so of course he fell right in line with my programming. And so I tried to go to Al-Anon. I was this good girl and I tried to help him, and I loved him through all this suffering that he went through. And I felt like, how could he not love me because I'm with him through all this suffering? Like, really? So that was my next relationship. And then after that, I met my ex-husband. And OMG, you guys, now that I don't even probably have enough time to go through that whole story. I'm probably just going to go through that in another episode, because that one's pretty deep. I will tell you that he's a master manipulator. So if anybody has experienced that, I really fell for the fact that he cared for me, and he didn't. And how did I find that out? Through a mentor. She saw she saw the bigger picture. She saw that I was being emotionally, I hate to use this word, but abused. Um, it was He was definitely emotionally unavailable and just a manipulator. And I really thought that he cared for me, and he did not. And I, thank God, had a mentor at the time see it, and she lovingly helped me get through this relationship and finally have the courage to ask for a divorce. Um, these kind of people are really, really good at manipulating because they get to know you so well. They get to know what makes you tick and your insecurities. And they act like they really love and care for you, but they also use your insecurities against you. And to the point where he tried to turn at this point in my life, I had a relationship with my dad. And that to me is sacred because I didn't have a relationship with my dad growing up. And this person in my life tried to throw me under the bus with my dad, my own dad. It was bad, you guys. It was really bad. And it's it's really hard as somebody, I'm super sensitive and I'm an empath. So it's really hard for me to be mean or hate a person that I spent so much time with. And it's really, they call it a cognitive dissonance, is the psychological term, where these people, they act nice and they do nice things, like they'll buy you gifts, or they'll show you love, they'll embrace you, they will, say all the right things, but they have an agenda. And so your brain gets confused because here they are treating you nice sometimes. And because I didn't get the love as a kid, I really needed this love. It's like I'm human, right? And so your brain gets confused because you want to believe, like, oh, wait, but they were nice to me today. They were, they said all the right things. They cuddled me. They said they had my back, but they don't. And so that was the relationship that I experienced with this ex person. And that heartbreak really tore me down because the year that I finally got the courage to leave was 2019, end of 2019. And then in January of 2020, right before COVID, I lost my dog, who was my little soulmate. Oh, I just love my dog, you guys. And so then lockdown came through, and I was grieving the divorce and my loss of my dog. And so the 19-year-old heartbreak was nothing compared to this. Zero. Like, I just was devastated. I couldn't move. Like, I didn't want to move off the couch. And thankfully, I had started this show. I feel like I was on iHeartRadio. It was just a radio show for a long time during 2019. And then it was just coming online as a TV show during COVID. So I really poured myself into that. I have a lot of shows on iHeartRadio and Spotify if you guys want to ever look back. But so I know we're getting to the end of our time. And I just want to say that, again, I can sit here and tell you that this breakup, this divorce is still, something that I grieve every once in a while. I'll have a good cry, just to let it out. But I feel good, you guys. I feel good. I'm healthy. I was really skinny. I got really skinny in that relationship because my body was trying to tell me that something was off. And I knew it in my gut. You always know it in your gut. But I didn't want to believe that this person that I had put all of my heart and my soul and my trust in, that he just wasn't good for me. I didn't want to believe that. And so the silver lining in all this is that he did remind me that I love to sing because he's a musician. And I feel like the three heartbreaks that I've talked about, I have other relationship stories, but the three heartbreaks that I did talk about today is, if I'm honest with myself, each of them, what they really wanted to show me was that I got this, right? Like, I can be my own best friend. I can show myself love. I can sit with my emotions, because that's one thing that, again, I didn't want to sit with my emotions. I wanted to just have somebody there, whether it was healthy or not. But at the time, of course, I didn't see that. And this is just now in reflection, looking back after all this self-work that I've done, that I'm okay. I am okay by myself. I have my singing, I have the show, I have you guys that I can now, be in service to. Like I said, I do my coaching with one-on-one with women. I write, I sing, I speak. I have other things happening in my life, and I feel good. And of course, I would love a healthy relationship. I feel like I'm ready for a healthy relationship more so than ever in my life. I feel like I'm finally whole in my own self, and I won't be looking for somebody else to fill any voids. Um, and so I welcome that. But I'm good either way. I'm good either way. And so, to anybody that is struggling with heartbreak and not understanding why, I feel like it's really trying to get you to you, more to you, to your soulful self, to your true path, to your heart of hearts, to what you're supposed to be here and experience in life. And I know it's uncomfortable and hard. And I hope, if you are going through heartbreak, that you have friends and family to lean on. My heartbreak through COVID, I couldn't lean on really anybody, right? Everybody was in lockdown. I lost my dog. It was just really, really, it felt so like slow. It was like, oh my God, another day of this. Like, how am I going to get through this day? But you get through it. You do get through the hard times. And I also will say that all of these experiences have reminded me how strong I am emotionally and mentally. I've had to really navigate people that have tried to mess with my mind emotionally. And that's the God honest truth. People around me have really tried to manipulate my mind, just going to say it like it is. And we can probably talk more about that too, if you guys ever want to. But I've had to really stay in my own lane, figure out my own, what I feel like, teach myself, do I feel this, or is this somebody else wanting me to feel this? If that makes any sense. Like, I've had to really teach myself what I like and what I don't like, and put up boundaries around people that I know in my gut are not good for me. And so, anyways, let's see. What did I miss here? Dana, you are not in your 30s. No way. I am not. I am not in my 30s. But thank you. Wendy, will that show contain triggers? I don't know what show we were talking about. Maybe something that I was going to talk about. But probably, maybe, yeah, I
We were
apologize.
talking about doing a show about the ex-husband.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Rebel. Probably. I will probably talk about my ex-husband one day, and I'll tell you guys all about that. And it might contain triggers, and so just be warned. Jeremy, how long was the marriage? We were married for 10 years, and so it was a pretty long time. But I was with him for about 13. And Jan, that sounds like a good topic. Okay, so a good topic. I hope Rebel will remind me to talk about the ex. Do you guys want to hear about the ex relationship, the ex marriage, the ex husband? If so, you can always DM me because it's 5 minutes. I'm gonna end the show. Please, you guys, follow me on Instagram at Jenna Lobos. DM me any questions, comments you want to hear on this show. My website's jennalobos.com, but you can easily find me on Instagram at Jenna Lobos. So I hope you enjoyed today's show, you guys. I hope I brought you some value. If you're going through heartbreak, it will be okay. It will be okay. The more you sit with your feelings, the easier and the faster it will go. It will move through your body. Find a mentor. Find me, jennalobos.com. And until next time, love your body and love your life. Take care. Bye.